much do I love Wolverine? Well, I have 26 Wolverine statues, and today we're going to look at all of them, and we're going to rank them from my favorite to my least favorite. Let's do it, bub. Welcome to the Xtreme channel. My name is Mr. X. Before we get started, if you don't like Wolverine but you like Venom, we're giving away some Venom statues. So check this out right here. These two Venom statues we're going to give away. Go ahead and like the video now, and I will tell you at the end of the video how you can win these. And what's really interesting about Venom is that was actually the original idea for this video. If you caught it, a while back I did a video on my favorite Venom statues right here because I have a ton of Venom statues and I wanted to rank them from my favorite to my least favorite, and people seem to like that kind of video. So this is a very similar format. There are a few differences. Number one, if you are watching this live when it first airs on Sunday, March 21st or 22nd, so 3/22/20 at 2 p.m., then we are doing a premiere video. That means I am watching your comments in the chat and I am responding, so I'd love for you to participate if you are watching this live. Number two, I am ranking all the Wolverine statues. Not the ones I don't have yet. We're going to go over those. I'm not going to put them in an order because I don't want to rank something until I have it in hand. But of those 26 statues, I think about 10 of them are still on purchase order, so they are on their way in, or pre-order or order or whatever the hell you want to call it. Next thing, as we rank these statues, these are any statues with Wolverine in them. Wolverine may not be the main character. However, he is part of the statue, and I am ranking the statue as a whole. So for example, there's going to be a few statues that the Wolverine's not the best in it, but the overall statue is really good. We are ranking the overall statue. That is what we are doing here today. So let's get started right now. And first, let's look at the statues of Wolverine that are coming in. So let's get started right away, and first thing we're going to look at is all the Wolverine statues that I have coming in. Now, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, go ahead and hit subscribe and that bell notification now, because you will see all of these pieces reviewed in detail. All of the Wolverines that I currently have that we're going to look at as well, I've reviewed all those, so you can check those out on the channel. But this is in no particular order. These are just pieces that I have coming in. Let's jump right into it. First is a piece that has already been released. It was only released as a kit, so this kit has been shipped to a painter, but this is Wolverine Samurai. It's a custom piece, meaning a private commission. It's 1/4 scale. Very, very cool. So many different switch out options. If you're in the statue community, you know that this is probably the most elaborate paint job required. I think the paint job itself is going to be like $1,000 or $2,000. It is just nuts, but I can't wait to have them in my collection. Also from that same commission group is what is called Phase 3, and you will see Phase 2 in the actual countdown, but Phase 3 is a series of progression through Wolverine's life. I own Phase 2. This is Phase 3 I have on order, where he is fighting a Sentinel head. Very excited about this. It will come painted, and if it's as good as Phase 2, it'll probably be a grail. Phase 4, which I have on order, is Old Man Logan vs. Maestro. Again, same comments as before. It'll come painted, highly anticipated, kind of a different take. I actually have 4 or 5 other Hulk vs. Wolverine statues that we're going to look at today, but pretty cool. Next is a custom 1/4 scale yellow Wolverine. I'm pretty sure everything we're going to go over is 1/4 scale, but this should be shipping pretty soon actually. Very excited to have this one. I've seen some production pictures as well. Looks amazing. Next one is not a Wolverine statue, but the Iron Studios Sentinel #1 does have Wolverine in it. This one I'm highly anticipating. I haven't pulled the trigger on #2 because I don't like it very much, but I definitely like #1, and Wolverine, I love how he's coming out of the chest of the Sentinel. It'll be awesome. Here's another one, and I'm actually getting mine brown, but this is a finished yellow. I believe this is the prototype. Wolverine vs. Sentinel. This is a custom 1/4 scale from a group I bought tons and tons of pieces from. Actually, the video I launched yesterday was from the same group. Next one is a diorama I am not excited about at all. The pictures of Wolverine look horrible. I think I'm going to forego my $400 deposit, but this is a Wolverine vs. Predator piece. 2 of my favorite characters fighting off. I had so much anticipation. It was supposed to ship a year ago. It still hasn't, and it's looking worse and worse with the production photos. Next is a 1/4 scale Weapon X. This one has been, the prototype has been printed. This is the render. The digital sculpt looks amazing. Really excited to have a high-end Weapon X. I currently have one, which you're going to see in the countdown, but this is awesome as well. Next is a project I've been all over for years, and it keeps getting thrown away and then picked back up by someone else, and someone's finally running with it again. But Wolverine vs. Deadpool, the classic matchup of all time. This is a diorama. I'm really excited. It's from a new commission group, which I'm always a little weary of, but the person running it is a fantastic collector. Can't wait to have this piece. It will be painted. Very, very cool. So this next one, I'm not allowed to share pictures. A lot of custom groups don't allow you to share pictures, and I only share pictures if it's outside of the group already. But what this is a Age of Apocalypse Wolverine. Can't say where it comes from. I can't even show you a picture of the statue, but very excited. Then this last one's kind of unique. So this isn't in my countdown, but long story short, I've actually had this piece for a while, and there were some shipping issues when it came, and that's all I can say. The commissioner took care of me and getting things fixed, but awesome, fantastic piece. Wish it would have went with the pieces I currently have in hand, but the shipping issues messed everything up. Now we're going to count down the top 15 statues in my collection. And this was really hard.
That's what she said!
Just like Venom, I am not basing this off, this has the best paint and sculpt, this is the best concept, this is the best design. I'm just looking at it as which one do I like the best? Which one would I keep till the end? And it's interesting because just like Venom, the list literally changed like 10 times every hour. But these are just my favorites, so we're going to go with it, and let's go ahead and get started with number 16 is kind of a weird one. I can't remember the name of this. It's a custom. It's not really scaled, but I'd probably say it's close to maybe 1/7, 1/8 scale. Interesting. I bought this on eBay a while back. You can check out the review on it, but very weird little piece. Kind of different. I almost would rank him higher, but he just doesn't go well with the other Wolverines because he's so much smaller. Number 15 is a custom 1/4 scale Old Man Logan vs. Hulk. I loved this because this is the comic that got me back into reading comics. And I actually got back into the comics because of this statue. But there were some definite disappointments, and we'll leave it at that. Next one is a piece I've had for a while. It's a 1/4 scale diorama with X-23 and Wolverine. I've had this for quite a while. I think it's very average. The base takes up so much room. There are some things I really like on this piece, but there's also some negatives, I believe, too. And at the time it came out, it was pretty cool. But also, interestingly enough, number 13 is also an X-23 Wolverine diorama. It's X-23 Logan on a bike. So this is adapted from the movie. It's not taken directly from the movie, but very, very close. It's a cool concept. I like this a lot. I think if you recall my review on it, because I've reviewed all these, I think the paint was very average. But it's a neat piece. It's definitely a neat piece. I think one of the reasons it's more of a negative, it does take up so much space. Next piece is also a diorama, but this I believe is 1/5 scale, maybe 1/6, is the Iron Studios Juggernaut vs. Wolverine. The Wolverine on this is trash. It's one of the worst Wolverines I've ever seen, but Juggernaut and the base is amazing. And as I said in the intro to this, or the beginning, I'm judging the whole statue. Number 11 is interesting. This is Fat Wolverine. This is a very, very rare piece, hard to come by. It sells for 2 to 3 times its original retail, and it is awesome. I think one of the reasons it's lower in my countdown is while I love it, it's not true Wolverine. And it's a great comical figure. It goes with great with a lot of the rest of the comical fatties that I have. It is cool, it's just not as cool as some other ones. Number 10 is another diorama, 1/4 scale. It is a fastball special where Colossus is throwing Wolverine. Now on this piece, I actually have 2 different bases for it. This is a custom piece, and I bought a custom base for the custom piece because the original base took up too much room. But this is a neat piece, neat concept, very ambitious. Number 9 is another custom. This is the End Wolverine from a series I've never read before. I like the fact that it's very different. The paint and sculpt on it were good, but as I went through this list, it just didn't really blow me away. for some reason. I love that there's 4 different awesome head switch outs, but it just wasn't amazing to me compared to some of the rest we're going to look at. Next one is a classic, and this is the Sideshow Wolverine vs. Hulk. And what's interesting, you're looking at this, you're like, why is yours gray? Well, I had mine repainted. And I think this would still be the same ranking whether it was green or gray. I do like my gray one much better though. Even though the timeline may not fit, this is just a fantastic classic piece. The bad part about it is such a high ES. Number 6 is extremely similar because it's made by Sideshow Collectibles as well. Extremely high ES. This is the Sideshow Wolverine Premium Format, the new one. I think this is a great piece. It almost feels a little underscaled. The Sentinel hand, in my opinion, is very underscaled. But it's classic, and I really dig it, especially with the 2 portraits. Big fan of this piece. However, I probably will give him up at some point because there are so many yellow Wolverine options. And speaking of that, another yellow Wolverine option is this custom, ugly yellow Wolverine. This is called Wolf Killer. This is a piece that originally when I saw it, I was like, that is stupid and ugly. And then the more I saw it, the more I liked it. And then when I got it in hand, I was really impressed. The sculpt is phenomenal, done by the great Eric Sosa. It's just so different, so cool, so unique. I don't like a plain black base, but it's definitely strong at number 6. Number 5 is probably one of my most recent acquisitions, is the XM Studios Brown Wolverine. It's so crazy. People either love this or hate it. And I'm not sure why, because I love it. I love the different switch outs. I love the paint. I love the sculpt. I was not a fan of the unmasked portrait, so I will never display it with that. But I think they did a great, great job. Number 4 is an older one, but it's a classic. I love XM Studios Weapon X. I think this piece is phenomenal. It came with that glistening effect. It came just really unique for the time, and it's still unique, and I think it looks great. It's a Daniel Bell sculpt. Amazing. I display it without all the screens just for space, and those weren't done the best in my opinion. Number 3 is a custom part of a diorama. It is the ARP Clash of Power. So this is Logan, and this is one of those pieces that everyone that's seen it in real life thinks it's the most amazing thing, but pictures do not do it justice. Originally, especially on the portrait of Wolverine, I had some high questions. I wasn't really digging it, and I wondered why they went in that direction. But once you have it in person, it's great. It's really, really fantastic. Number 2, which probably would be number 1, is, if I had him painted, is my most recent Logan Soldier kit. I definitely need to get this guy painted, but he looks amazing even as a kit. Blows me away. One of the best Wolverine pieces I've ever seen, which is why I'm really hopeful for that Samurai Wolverine. Very, very cool. Once it's painted, it'll be phenomenal. So many Wolverine statues. I actually forgot about this guy because he's with my X-Force setup. But he would probably be number 2, number 3, depending on my mood of the day. This is an awesome piece. X-Force Wolverine Custom vs. Ninjas. And this is absolutely amazing. It's professionally painted. 2 different torsos, 4 different head switch outs. Very bloody, very cool. I've seen some awesome repaints on this as well. Which brings us to number 1. Now, this is probably expected by most people. It was a shock to me, actually. I didn't think he'd make number 1. A lot of people, this is their number 1 statue. This is a piece that actually people have offered me $4,000, $5,000, even I think like $5,500 for the statue, and I've turned it down. But it is none other than Phase 2. So this is Wolverine vs. Wendigo, Yellow Wolverine vs. Wendigo. This is probably what most people would call almost the perfect statue. Wolverine scaled a little bit bigger than he should be, but otherwise it is the perfect statue. This was a kit. This was professionally painted, but they also did mass production with painted pieces. Definitely number 1. Very, very cool. So we will do this video again for sure once we get more pieces in, and you know, Mr. X, I'm probably gonna order more. But if you're interested in winning that Venom statue, first thing you need to do is like this video and make sure that you are subscribed with the bell notification hit, because when we hit the 10,000 subs, we're giving this guy away. If you're watching this from the future, it means we've already done it. It means we have other giveaways going on, so go ahead and go find those videos, and then you'll know what to do. But I like these videos. I'm going to do this again, definitely with a few different pieces. We have Alien, we have Predator, we have Hulk, We have only like 4 or 5 Silver Surfers, but lots of different options we can do this with, especially as the collection continues to grow. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure to comment below which would be your number one, if it's one I don't even have, and which one are you most anticipated about, or what's the favorite in your collection. Really appreciate you watching. Talk to you tomorrow. Take care.